Hi there. So in this presentation, I'm going to be focusing on the Unit 1 from English 102. That is the unit that I decided to work with for this project in this course. So one of the things that I tried to do was for each of the pages and also the design of the pages, the setup of even the content menu, is set it up so that it mirrored the existing English 102 class. A lot of that information's already been built. So I used a lot of the original source code and carried that over, and it was actually really helpful because now I know how to do that if I do want to build a page or make changes to a page and have it still look like the course. So that was really helpful. And so, for instance, I pulled the source code for this Unit 1 Literature Review opening page and just made tweaks based on the changes I made. And then I also carried over the Unit 1 overview from 102, and this is pretty much exactly as it is there, just so that that overview is still linking. I didn't carry anything else over, though, so the rest of the links will be broken. Continuing with the way the English 102 class is set up, I divided out submodules for learning materials and for assignments and submissions because that's how it looks in the 102 course. So in learning materials, the one that I created is the evaluating sources. So this is based on an existing web page in the current 102. So I carried over the formatting and then I made some changes in terms of things that I thought might be good tweaks for the course. With a focus on trying to make 101 and 102 even more connected, and also to give some practical application of the CRAP test. So the banner I kept from the original. Here, actually, as far as the banner goes, I wasn't quite sure how to change out I could figure out how to swap out the image, but I figured any image that I might find may not look as good as this one. So I ended up keeping this one. So as I went through, what I did was put in my own kind of focus and take and language on what I think is important in evaluating sources. And then here in the types of sources, I went to our English 101 class, which I'm also teaching this semester, and found the source code for this chart, because this chart isn't in the current 102, but I think it's actually a really helpful way of thinking about sources. So I wanted to take that and have this moment of continuity between 101 and 102 as we're talking about sources again in 102. So I included this table. And then down here, the scholarly sources is a section that's kind of from the existing 102 evaluating sources section. So a lot of the language is the same, but instead of having the 3 accordion, I changed it. I put in a 2 accordion with my own language about 2 questions that I think are ones that students might have. Then this is the section for the how to evaluate for CRAP. So that's language that I added. And then this is the CRAP test poster that's used in 102 and 101. So again, like nice continuity between them with the same question, same look. And then here is the activity that I created that I kind of thought about last time that I submitted the document for, and the tweak that I made to make sure it's really clear that this is not like an assessment, it's just a chance to sort of practice the ideas, is that instead of doing anything like a quiz within a thing link, I decided to do the flip cards. So the idea is that students will look at this source that I included and then ask themselves some questions that are taken from the CRAP test evaluation about this source. And then when they click on the flip card, it's going to tell them a little bit more information about this particular source. So a little bit of practical application. This is just a screenshot I took of a source that I found on SIRS. I did include the image description, which refers anyone who can't see the image because you do need this information. Anybody who's visually impaired, the information in the image description refers them to the link to the SIRS website where they could log in and see the actual article and download it to use any kind of accessibility tools that they may have. So there is access to this article here. So the idea is that students will kind of look in terms of seeing this information up here and then use it down here to learn a little bit more. So for instance, this question is the source current? I try to keep this to be a situation where it wouldn't have to be updated all the time. So I didn't say, yes, it was published in 2022, even though it says up here it was published in 2022. I didn't want anyone to have to change that. So I just included the advice that a source is typically current if it was published in the last 5 years. But these are a little more specific. Where's the source from? It's from the New York Times. I figured out how to put the New York Times in italics in the source code. So I'm basically done with coding. That was my pinnacle, my peak. I'm never messing with HTML again. And then also, just questions like, is there any evidence in the source? You can see there's outside evidence up here. So the idea is that students have a little taste of practically answering the questions that they would be expected to answer in a CRAP test. Like an important one would be like, is the purpose to inform, entertain, or persuade? And they can kind of look over this and come up with their own idea and say, oh, I think it's to entertain, and then flip it and be like, oh, it's to persuade. Okay, well, why? So that was the sort of reasoning behind this little snippet here. And then for the last section, the conclusion, and the kind of wrap up, I try and tie the idea of the CRAP test as being a practical application in other courses. So even though they won't, again, be graded for the CRAP test like they are in 101 and 102, the idea in 102 is to internalize the practice of using the CRAP test so that they're evaluating sources beyond, whether it be in another course at Del Tech or if they continue at a four-year institution, if they continue on their education further in whatever capacity, they're using this beyond just in 102. So that is the learning material. And then if we go back to the Unit 1 literature review, the last thing we have is the assignment that I created previously. So this is, and actually this is, so the Unit 1 topic development brainstorm discussion, that's the summative unit that I did, I'm sorry, the formative unit that I added in as well. So this is based on the current Unit 1 topic development that exists in 102. I think it's a little bit split between a Word document submission and a discussion board. So I tweaked it to be just a discussion board and made some changes about how that would look. So that's the formative assignment. And then the summative assignment is the Unit 1 literature review that I previously built with the rubric that should be functional. Yeah, so that's the rubric that I built. So those are the things that I did, the work that I completed specifically in making this Unit 1 literature review module.